So we wear motorcycle riding boots not only for protection of our feet in an accident, but also for protection from the elements. There's nothing worse than getting caught in the rain and having soggy feet all day. But I'm here to tell you, it doesn't have to be that way if you give your boots the proper maintenance and treatment. And that's what we're going to talk about today, as well as boot selection. Hey there, this is Bronx Brothers Motorcycles and my name is Richie. On today's video, we're going to talk about shoe selection as well as maintenance for riding. So let's jump right in. Well, these boots that you're looking at right here are ankle-high leather boots. I picked these up from Revzilla. They are TCX riding boots. They do have an imprint for the shifter right here, but they don't have an extra leather piece. So, what do I like about this boot? Well, I like that it's rugged and comfortable at the same time. Now, this boot, I've had it for 3 years and it barely shows any wear. They wear really well. So, they're comfortable, easy to care for. Now this boot right here is what's called an oiled leather. Unlike this boot here, which has kind of a coating on it. Okay, so this boot easy to maintain. What else do I like about this boot? Well, in the rain, it has the right stuff, and that is gussets. That's this thing that you see right here. I call this the tongue. There's a gusset in between to prevent water from seeping in and getting your socks soaking wet. Now the downside of this boot is that it has fabric on the side. Now, for those of you that have ridden for a long time, or I think anybody, walked with sneakers in the rain, usually the portion of your foot that's going to get wet is right here and here. Now, there is something we can do about this. There's 2 products I'm going to show you. The first one is, if you watch my last video on textile garment maintenance, I introduced you to Nick Wax TX Direct. Now this is a water repellent spray-on product. And what you would do with this boot is spray this fabric area. Give it a coat or 2, maybe even 3. Spray it, let it dry. Do it again and again, 3 times, then give it a brush. They'll look fine. The other thing we can use is this product right here. Now this is not a motorsports product, but it is for outside patio furniture and things like that they don't want to absorb water. So this is 303 Fabric Guard. Give it 3 good coats with this. And what will happen is the water will beat up. You're on a motorcycle riding down the road, so the wind is going to push that off. Now, I will say for the leather, I'm going to show you the products that I use for that. To protect this boot, to make it water repellent, the first thing I would use is saddle soap. Now, if you watch my video on leather maintenance, I showed you how to use saddle soap. Pretty easy. It's pretty inexpensive as well. This is water. You spray some water on here, you get your brush. Now this is a paintbrush. Soft bristles, you don't want to use hard bristles. You dip it in the water and you swirl it around. As you rub it on the boot, it's going to lather up, and that's what you want. You want that lather. And you just work this all into the boot. What is that doing? It's opening up the pores of the leather. It's taking away that top coat of wax, or in this case that oil, so that when you put the next product on there, mink oil, this is even better than the original oil that's on these boots. Give it 3 coats of mink oil and then brush it, and now you're going to use this. This is a French product, very well known in the shoe industry. High quality stuff. It's called Saphir Neat's Foot Oil, and it comes in black, for my black boots. You have tan boots, you can get it in tan, so on and so forth. So that is what I do to keep my boots waterproof. So it may seem like a lot of work, but everything I just explained is a 20-minute job. Saddle soap, Minx oil, and then hit it with the Saphir. And that's it. And your boots will look like this. Now it doesn't have a high polish shine, but that's the look they're supposed to get. And you'll know when the oil is wearing off because the boot starts to turn a little bit gray here and there in certain wear areas. That is my TCX ankle high boots. Very good quality boots and good wearing boot. Next is my engineer boots. Now, I've been riding for 45 years. Back in the 80s, you never caught me on a bike where I didn't have a pair of these on. A pair of engineer boots and a black leather jacket, you're the coolest kid on the block. Anyhow, do I wear these as often as I used to? No, not so much. A little bit hard on the feet. As you get older, your feet tend to get a little bit more achy and just, you want to wear something comfortable. So, this boot I wear maybe to a bike night or a bikes and breakfast kind of thing. If I'm doing touring and am going to be doing some sightseeing and a lot of walking, I'm not going to wear this boot. As I've gotten older, my feet are a little bit more tender, so I wear more comfortable shoes for things like that. But nevertheless, this boot is a step up from the ankle high boots that I just showed you. How so? They come up mid-calf, so they go up higher on your leg. It also has a very good constructed sole. These boots are Chippewa brand. You ever seen Chips with those high boots, knee-high boots that they wear, the motor cops? That's the brand of that boot, Chippewa. Good boot, a little bit on the high side, but they're quality. So, now how would I make these to be more waterproof? Same way. Saddle soap, 3 coats of mink oil, and then polish, shoe polish. As you can see, these have a nice shine to them. That's because I put some polish on there. So, that is my engineer boots. I love these. I love the way they look. They're durable, they're constructed well, and I think everybody likes the classic look of an engineer boot. Now, talking about comfort, these shoes right here, this is my second pair. These are Simpson racing shoes. They're not made for motorcycles, they're made for cars. Now, they are fire resistant, and the best thing about these shoes is they're very comfortable, just like a sneaker. Another good thing about these shoes is the grip that they give you on the road. So, I ride an Electroglide, Harley Davidson Electroglide 1,000 pound motorcycle. When you go to lift that baby up off the side stand, a lot of times your left foot will slip. Not with these shoes. That is the number one thing I would say is that I like about these shoes, is that I feel secure. They have a good grip. It's kind of like a sneaker. So you would think that because they're fire resistant that they're a hot shoe. Not at all. I've worn these shoes in all kind of heat conditions and my feet were never super hot. Pretty much like a sneaker. Now, very comfortable. Not a bad looking shoe. Another thing that I like about them is when you tie up the laces, you put the knot right up here and then you put the Velcro straps to cover that. Have you ever had your shoelaces get caught in either your shifter or your brake pedal? Well, this Velcro straps will prevent that. Your shoestrings are not going to get caught up. Now, like I said, this is my second pair. So, what do I do to make them water resistant? Again, 303 fabric guard. Give it a few shots of this or the Nick Wax TX Direct. You can spray these shoes down with that. Now, waterproofing is not so great on these shoes. Why? Because that thing I told you, where the gussets, this has no gussets. So any rain coming straight in is going to get your socks wet. Who doesn't hate soggy feet all day? Now, what I can tell you is on my electric glide, I have lowers. So if it's raining, I can stick my feet right into those lowers and prevent them from getting rain and overspray from that front tire. Now, when you stop is when the rain that's coming down is going to get your feet wet. So if you've given it a good coating with this stuff or this, the water's just going to bounce right off. As you ride, the wind will push the water off the shoe. So, how would I rate this? Probably a 3 in water repellency. It's not that great. Now the final boot I'm going to show you today is my Gaerne Trials boot. This is not a motocross boot. What makes this different than a motocross boot? Well, this has a lot more flex. Side to side, forward to back. A motocross boot, I compare it to a ski boot. Those things are almost impossible to do any walking in, and it's a really stiff, hard boot. This boot is comfortable. Like a sneaker, because it comes up, no. But I tell you, the toe box here is very roomy. Now, we went on a trip to California, and it got very cold at night. I had to wear thick wool socks. Now, I will say my foot was very comfortable in this boot. It was never tight, and to be honest with you, I didn't get super cold in these boots as well. So, now water resistant or waterproof, these boots are excellent in. These things will not let your feet get wet. Now they come up just below the knee, so that's why I wouldn't rate them as comfortable as a sneaker, but protection wise, they're very good. The other thing is the sole is very stiff, but yet it bends. You can't bend a motocross boot. Now, when we went to Los Angeles, we had to do some sightseeing, some walking, and I walked in these boots, and they served me nice. Once I got used to them, I wasn't uncomfortable. It was pretty normal for me to walk in these boots around town and do what I had to do. I wore them for 7 straight days, and I can tell you that I really liked the way they performed. Now again, there's a Gaerne Italian-made boot, so that's to tell you that it's a well-made boot. Now, how do I care for these boots? Well, as long as they're not too muddy, because if they are, you hose them off, get all the dirt off, and then what I use is this Meguiar vinyl and rubber cleaner and conditioner. Now, obviously, this is for automotive, interior seats and things like that. So that's what I clean these boots with, and that's why they look like this. So, easy to use, easy boots to clean. Waterproofing, very simple. Just throw them on and your feet are going to be dry all day long, no matter how much rain you encounter. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. This is the type of videos that I put out. I do gear reviews, gear maintenance, motorcycle reviews. We do a lot of touring. As a matter of fact, in first week of March, we're going to be riding down to Key West come January and building a motorcycle. There's a lot of stuff going on. This is kind of my new studio here I'm recording from, which there's a lot of trial and error with sound and lights and all kind of stuff. So anyway, it's coming along, and I hope it continues to improve as time moves on. So if you haven't given this video a like, I would really appreciate it. Anyhow, I'm really glad you guys are here and watching the videos. You all take care. Watch out with the crazy people on the roads, and I will catch you on the next one. Adios.